welcome to another episode of the Wild World of Classics.
Up north, there's a place called Fat Man Inn. It's probably about another 20 miles north of the old Highland House. It's on 41 and 21. It's a real cool place. They cater to bikers. Great food, clean, really nice place. Nice people. We're going to take a cruise up there. And in fact, I go to a lot of the benefits. Bikers are very charitable persons, and they go to a lot of events where people are doing things to raise money for the less fortunate out there. So this event is set up for breast cancer. And we're going to meet, I believe her name was Karen Jordan. She lost about 300 pounds. And she's not only riding a motorcycle in events, but her bike was down that day. So she came up there supporting the event, bringing a bunch of stuff that she was selling so that they could raise money for breast cancer research. And it was great. It was a great time. You're going to take a look at some real cool, interesting things up there. Bikes, boys and babes, having fun. What a great concept. So we're going to take a look at that. Then we're going to shoot over to Des Plaines Honda. There was a guy named Scarecrow, and he came up there. He's usually in town for 2-3 times a year at Des Plaines Honda, and what he does is actually puts artwork on motorcycles, and he's the one that did some work on this bike. We filmed it all, and we have some great footage of him doing the Patriot Eagle. So you're really going to see some great footage of painting an eagle. Not only does he paint them, but he's got a technique that was just unbelievable. He actually loads a brush with 2-3 colors at the same time. And when he puts it on, you get the like a 3D effect where you see all 3 colors in this thing that he's painting, whether it's stripes or if it's an eagle. He does a scarecrow. He does a lot of different things. There's a lot of things he can paint. So I'm here with Sandra Jordan, right?
Right.
And you walk a million miles a year?
Well, no, not a million. I wish I could walk a million. I've walked 1,000 miles since I started this crusade. So
every year?
Well, it actually comes out about 400. I'm breaking it down now. This is going into my 3rd year. So it averages about 450 to 500 miles a year.
We're at Fat Man's Inn up in Gurnee, Illinois. It's a great biker bar. And I'm here with Sandra Jordan, and you got started in this breast cancer run that we're having here today. But where's your bike? You came in this thing. What are you doing?
I did come in this. I got my bike having new tires and brakes put on this weekend because I've been gone all weekend.
What kind of bike?
There's only one kind of bike. I have a Heritage, Harley Davidson.
Comfortable bike, huh?
It is a comfortable bike.
You can handle it?
I can handle it.
The weight?
Well, my husband, I sit in the back.
You sit in the back. You don't ride. You don't drive.
I don't drive.
Oh, okay.
No.
So you really enjoy it.
I really enjoy it.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
So, but you got involved with this breast cancer how long ago?
I got involved in 2001.
Tell us why you got involved with the Walk for Breast Cancer.
Well, I got involved for the fact, as a personal challenge, to walk 60 miles in a weekend. I've been morbid obese my whole life, and I had gastric bypass in January of 2001, started training, and by June I lost 187 pounds and walked 60 miles in a weekend. And since I walked that weekend, I've been addicted, and I've walked every walk that Avon's walked since.
You're doing great, and it's for a great cause, and you are cancer-free, just to let our audience know, correct?
Yes, I am, and my family. Before I started this crusade, no one personally within my life has ever been touched with breast cancer.
Okay, but now you know people that have been touched with it.
I do, and I have helped a lot of people with what I've done with the granting and everything we've raised. You know, this year alone, we raised $5.9 million for our area.
You know what? And bikers are a big part of that, aren't they?
Oh, they are. They've supported me throughout this whole thing. Lakeshore, the Fat Man's, everyone.
It's amazing what we do. We come together, but you know, it's cool because we're generous people. Bikers are generous people, but you know what? we get together with our friends and just have fun. And you don't even have to know the guy next to you on the bike. All of a sudden you start talking and it's a friend.
It is a friend. It's a family.
Yeah,
it is. It really
it's
is a
great.
trusting family.
You know, so if you want to have some fun out there, there's hope for you. Get off the couch. You don't even have to get on the bike with my group. You could join Sandra's group here and walk for breast cancer.
Right.
It's a great cause. We want to see you come out and support this great cause and Sandra Jordan. You know, thanks for helping out.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
John, I got to ask you a question. This is Johnny. He's a Chicago fireman. You go to these charitable events all the time. You love riding in them, don't you?
Absolutely.
Great cause, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
But I spotted the bike. I mean, this is such an old bike. You put so much money in it. Why?
I love the old school look. I like the new bikes, but there's just something about the old school bikes that
This is like
that
from the
stand
80s,
out.
right?
1980 Shovelhead.
And you
Absolutely.
took and just really went through it. And you're going to be doing more stuff this winter, right?
This winter, new paint job, open primary, maybe a little motor work. It'll just a couple more things, little add-ons.
You know what? People think that cars are the only thing people customize. People have been doing this with motorcycles since the beginning of time also.
I think they've been doing customizing motorcycles longer than cars.
It's really gorgeous. You know what? I'm kind of liquidating all my stuff. My bike's behind you. I want to get a new bike, and I just want to get on and ride. I don't want to work on it all winter and put more money in it and all of that. But I really respect what you do here. You got one little chip in the tank. Why not put a bullseye over it and not repaint the bike? The bike looks gorgeous.
My friend said he'd repaint it for me, so I'm holding him to his word.
Okay. Great bike. Really a nice look. You chopped it down. You did a lot of work in it. Give our audience just a rough idea what you put in here.
It's probably
Money-wise.
around 17.5 for everything so far.
So far.
So far.
By spring, he's going to have 20 G's in the bike. There's no
Probably-
doubt about it.
Probably 20. 20 by springtime.
John, it's a great piece.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for riding for such a great cause.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm here with Heather and Janice. Now, Heather is working here.
I'm
so
working.
we did a ton of things about people working here. Great
Okay.
event. You know what? Thanks for helping out.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Janice is the one girl here today that's the smartest girl out of the whole bunch.
She's very smart.
She wanted to ride a motorcycle. I heard this story. She was telling somebody else. She wanted to ride a motorcycle. She went to school first. Wasn't comfortable in riding a bigger bike.
No, I like the bike.
You like the bike?
I did, but I just thought, I'm like in the city and I'm zipping around. I thought maybe I should start with a scooter and get used to it and then graduate to the bike.
Now,
But I like the bike.
Did you know that gas prices were going to go crazy?
No, but
That's why I'm calling you the smartest girl around.
this gets 90 miles
to the gallon. That's why I'm calling you the smartest girl here. Okay? But you have a lot of fun on this. This is a ball.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Okay, this is 2005. By next year, I guarantee that motorcycles and these scooters are going to be the hottest thing on the market because of the gas crunch.
It cost me $250 to fill it up.
And she looks great on it. So, and you can go 100 miles on a fill up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great bike, great story. Thanks. Thank you.
No problem. See you.
What about me? Since 9/11, Scarecrow has painted a number of patriotic themes on bikes, like this one.
Preparation is one of the key features for what I do. If you don't get all the polish and wax off, you pay a price later on for it. There's always a good indicator to that. It's called fish eyes.
You know, I have watched a lot of artists in my life. I used to hang out with an artist group in Chicago, and we used to go down to the lakefront. They used to paint and stuff like that. I was one of their kind of like gophers and stuff. And I really enjoyed watching. But you are something else.
Thank you.
This is just the way you load the brush, the way you
Unload.
unbelievable.
You load it on, then you unload it onto the bike. And it gives you this 3D look to it. This is really a kind of an abstract design that I created. called a Patriot Eagle. This will be the blue portion of it.
Now, do you do any lettering?
I do a little bit of stuff in the way of names and stuff. No real sign work. People want their names on their bike or something like that, or nickname or slogan. I can do those things.
Now, you know what? I haven't mentioned this, and I really apologize. I don't know how many segments we've aired, but you're going to get some. We'll been doing graphics. Your name. Your name is Scarecrow.
Yes.
Now, why did your mother do that to you?
I don't know. I guess she just didn't like the way I dressed or something.
You know what, though? I do have to say one thing. Before I called you, I called around to a number of people to find somebody to work on this bike. And you can see I really like the bike. I keep it clean, and I'm doing a lot with it.
Except for these little marks here.
We're doing some real cool things with the show. But your reputation is just unbelievable out there. Not one person that knows who you are or has seen you. Because you go around to a lot of bike shows, and you go into dealerships and do this on a regular basis.
Yes.
Anybody that's ever seen you in action said you're the best.
Thank you. Well, there's some significance to that whole Scarecrow thing. It's just that I'm the only person who paints with 3 or 4 colors on a brush at one time, and that actually makes me all alone in my field, just like a scarecrow. Get it? And these will simulate the feathers of the eagle. We'll come back in and we'll lay a star field on top of this as we get along there. We'll let this tack up a little bit. In the meantime, we'll put the red and white parts of the stripe part of the flag into the eagle. We started on this thing 27 years ago. And to this day, my relatives still wonder when I'm going to go out and get a real job. I often wonder, if I'm ever that fearless again, but my wife and I, we saw this guy painting in a mall. He was talking about how he could teach anybody to paint in 2 days. So we just quit our jobs, boarded our house, we took our 8-month-old baby, and we drove from Fort Lauderdale to Iowa and paid some guy for a 2-day class on how to paint motorcycles. And I've been painting ever since. 12 days after that 2-day class, I walked into my first dealership. I spent 2 days in there. I painted 3 motorcycles for Action Kawasaki in Wichita, Kansas. This design actually requires a lot of forethought. In other words, there's a lot of things in this design where it won't make sense to a viewer what I'm actually doing. And I can actually see what's there when it's done, and I haven't even painted it yet. In other words, I've already planned where I'm going to be putting the white, and I'm leaving all those hollow spaces for it. So to somebody else, they might not understand why the red is going where it's going, but
It looks strange, and that's what you're trying to
It's
tell
that-
the viewers. And
it's one
I
of
have
those.
no fear in what you're doing at all. When you look at an artist, a true artist like you are, you just keep your mouth shut basically and enjoy.
And hope.
Enjoy what is going on. It's like watching a motion picture. You're going to get something out of it by the end, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully being the key word there, right?
Right.
It's like,
Well, with you,
okay,
I
I guess
have no
I guess there's a plot developing here. I hope it actually turns into a full-fledged design at the end. Now you have the advantage over your viewers, though, that you saw the finished product before I started, too. So
Looking through all your books, you mean?
you picked this one off the board, so
The board, get a Patriot board.
right.
But you know
Of
what?
all my
It's-
Patriot designs on it.
It's not the same as the one that you have here, though. I
No,
can see
I'm
it's a
adapting
different-
it to your style.
And to the size of the fender.
Right, and to the shape of the fender, too.
I think if you made it the way it's on your board, it would be way too big for this fender. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this fits the area better. And it fits the shape of your fender, and it'll be a very nice area where it's positioned from behind. Everybody will see this. These are going to be the legs, believe it or not. And I'll come back in and we'll add the feet below, and once we put the head in, it'll make a lot more sense. Now this is a completely different design than the one I did on your front fender with that Ghost Eagle, where this is a solid eagle here.
That was my suggestion. Do the solid eagle back here, and then do the stripe one up on the front.
Yeah, this would have really crowded the Ghost Eagle because it really needs a lot of room to open up and flow.
I think this would have been way too much on the front end of the bike. What do you think?
Yeah, I think with your taste, which is really the important part here, I think this fits a whole lot better with what you were actually looking to get out of the finished designs. I like to stagger these too, where it looks like there's a layer of feathers. And by loading more than one color, I can create a 3D look in the design of the feathers. It's a constant battle with those brush hairs trying to get away. This here is actually the dominant wing, so it's a little larger, it's a little brighter, it's a little out front of the other one. And then the head will come in and it'll take up part of the other one to give the whole design a 3D look. And then also we want to try to give a 3D look to each individual feather. Again, the goal is, from a distance, someone will look at that and say, wow, look at that fender. And as they get close, they'll go, wow, look at the detail in there, and it'll get even better as they get close. So much artwork that you look at, you think, oh, that looks pretty nice, but when you get up close to it, you go, look.
Bikers love bikes, boys, bikes, and babes. So I love,
You left one of them bees out of there.
you know, it just...
They love beer.
I left out what?
Beer.
Beer. But sometimes you, like you said, the closer you get, the prettier the detail. I mean, the bike catches you from far, and the closer you get, the detail is just unbelievable. And other times you get closer, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Man, sometimes it's not pretty at all. And I guess it's a byproduct of what I do, but I get to see an awful lot of really bad artwork too.
Really? I mean, yeah, I guess...
People bring bad artwork to me, and they bring it to me with this philosophy that, hey, you know, I got this on my bike, I really don't like it, can you fix it? And I'm like, okay, well, did you buy it with that on there? No, I didn't. I said, well, how did you get it? Well, I had a guy do it. I said, well, then why didn't you tell him you didn't like it? I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I'm like, well, please hurt my feelings. If I put something on you don't like, don't accept it. Everything needs to be to your liking. And so, you know, beyond doing a lifetime guarantee on all my work, we also do satisfaction guarantee. If you don't like it, tell me and I'll change it, you know. And so I've been very successful with that, and I have a terrific customer base, I have a terrific customer following, and a tremendous amount of repeat business, which I'm very proud of.
I'm watching this thing. I'm watching poetry in motion. This is just...
Thanks.
It's just phenomenal what is happening right in front of you.
And the best part is it's on your own motorcycle doing this, so. And I really thought that was one reason why this was the perfect place for your Patriot Eagle on the back, because it kind of gives it its own private space, you know. It gets to stand alone by itself back here.
Now, we're not going to stripe this fender. We're not doing anything other than this eagle here, right?
Correct. And this Eagle will have its own area here where it can actually dominate the space. And being in the back of the motorcycle, it gets very viewed. If you pass someone on the highway, or they pass you, or you pull into a parking slot, the back is usually the first place on a motorcycle that someone gets to see. And so I build mine as I go. In other words, I'm doing the highlighted parts of the top of the head as I go. I'm doing the shadowed parts in his face. So to me, this all makes sense. and eventually to you and to your viewers. In the next few minutes, it'll make sense also.
So what do people do to maintain it? Number one, how soon can you wax something like this?
Yeah, those are really probably the most common questions that I get is how do I take care of my painting? And like I say, all of my work is guaranteed for life, but you still want to take care of it and make it look good. And so I have researched and spoken to the masters and people who detail the $1 million show cars, and they all say the same thing. And basically, there's two things: wax is for protection, polish is for shine. And so, if you put a good coat of Carnauba wax on your motorcycle once or twice a year, that offers you the protection that you need to protect your paint. And the rest of the year, you would use polish to keep the shine up. And all wax really does is, if you look at your painted surface through a microscope, it looks like the surface of a golf ball with a whole bunch of little dimples in it. And wax fills those dimples in, which allows it to reflect the light straight back to you, where the dimples will allow it to reflect light in many different directions. So once you fill those in, you get a shiny surface. And then basically, once I get done with it, they can ride it home the same day. You try not to touch it for a couple hours till the paint tacks up. Wait about a week before you put your polish back on it. And don't use any petroleum-based quick cleaners. Like S100 is the one that comes to mind. And in my opinion, that will break down the paint, and little pieces will start to come off after a little while.
You know, I was just by a guy's house, a friend of mine, that I ride with periodically. He's got a Gold Wing, and it looks nice. I mean, and as I'm pulling up, he's cleaning his bike, and he's using glass cleaner on the whole bike.
That's a no-no.
That's the worst thing you could do, because most glass cleaners have alcohol or ammonia in them, and they actually will dull any kind of a urethane finish or your windshield or anything on your bike. Really, I told him he'd be better off using, because all he had was dust on the bike. I said, you're better off using something like even spray a little furniture polish on a dust rag and wipe it off.
That's very correct.
And you're just putting like a silicone-based polish. In fact, that's what I've used for years on my windshield to keep bugs from sticking to the windshield. You know you're going to get those bugs in the summertime.
That's true too. And they actually make a couple of those quick details now. I know Honda has one, a spray cleaner and polish. Harley Davidson has one. That's a spray cleaner and polish. They're made in the same factory. Kuryakyn now has come out with their own, which is again also made in the same place. They all have their own name on them, but it offers the cleaning power, and it leaves a protective coating on there so your bugs don't stick as well. But Windex, a lot of pinstripers use Windex to strip the polish off. So if you use a Windex, you're actually stripping all your polish off at the same time. The same thing is true of like alcohol. Now that rubbing alcohol is a great tool for taking off tree sap if you ever get it on. Mineral spirits is a great tool for taking off road tar and stuff like that. But both of those will strip your polish, and if you use them, make sure you go back in and put your polish back on afterward.
Have you always been very detail-oriented, or did this just come about when you started doing motorcycles?
Yeah, I'm a kind of a detail guy anyway, but you know, as I started painting and I learned more and more about it, I realized, you know, the detail is really what makes the designs. You start looking really close at artwork, and you study little things in cartoons or artwork, and you realize that, okay, it's easy to paint a cartoon, but if you don't put that black outline around every single color, then it doesn't look right. And it's true of all artwork. If you don't add that fine detail, then that's what separates the good artwork from the average artwork. I have a little bit of an advantage in the fact that I know how to multi-load the brush with 2 or 3 colors at once, and in that way I can get different effects with my technique that some people can't get.
You know, when you told me you were going to do that over the phone, I was like, yeah, right. Like I can put 3 colors on a brush and make it look like it was a 3-dimensional type of thing. I really didn't believe it. But I guess seeing is believing. And now you made me into a believer.
Well, thank you. I've got thousands of believers in the area too, so it's a good thing. We just try to, give people more than they expected to get. Treat them right, and it's been a pretty successful pattern for many years. Thanks. Even little ones, we got to get little detail in the little designs. It's easier to put detail in a large pattern, but you start doing little, minute, small details, it even makes the small design looks good. And of course, the finishing touch on all the eagles is you always have to come in and dot the I. Gives them that little gleam.
Well, I don't usually agree with Rich, but this time I think we agree that Rich made the right choice with Scarecrow.
I hope you're enjoying the show. We're really changing directions on what we used to do. We're going with nicer segments. We're doing a lot more segments and giving you a lot of great tips. Yes, we're going to keep doing some of those safety tips. It's really important because a lot of you out there don't know about the things we're going to be covering on safe riding and that. We're going to be dealing with a lot of safe riding tips. It's real important. You know what? Watch out for that gravel on the street. If you're coming up to an intersection and you see gravel, never take those turns too fast anyway, but if there's gravel on that street around a corner, it can cause your bike to slide out from under you, depending on how you're accelerating and how you're doing things. So we're going to touch on that. We added Suzanne to the show. She's really a pleasure to work with. I really enjoy her. She's got some great tips she's going to be giving the ladies. You know what? We're coming to the end of another episode of the Wild World of Classics. I'm Rich Zadkowski, and I'd like to thank you for watching. Executive producer and host, Rich Zadkowski. The all-important phone number to the television show is 630-595-6533. Check out that website, homelandimprovements.com. Funding provided in part by Belmont Colmar Towing, Chicago and suburbs. Century Muffler and Brake, Bensonville, Illinois. CMJ Automotive, Addison, Illinois. Omni Video Productions, Itasca, Illinois. Rich's RMS Construction Company, Bensonville, Illinois. Trains and Toys of Yesterday, Morton Grove, Illinois. Unique Cycle, complete audio systems for all motorcycles, Kenosha, Wisconsin.